And we are joined here with Vince Benenati today. He has invited us into his home, his living room, kitchen, to speak about his story and his lymphoma experience. Thank you so much, Vince.
Not a problem.
So my first question for you is two forms of lymphoma, Hodgkin and non-Hodgkin. How did you react to not only one diagnosis, but to both?
Well, just the initial shock, I guess, of finding out I had cancer, period, and to find out, it was a rare type. It was just a complete shock. I remember sitting in Grimsby Hospital, just a little small hospital down the road here, and I had gone in because I was getting some symptoms, like my face was swelling up, wake up with black eyes.
And in 2010, you discovered the root cause of these symptoms. Tell us about the day of diagnosis.
I kept persisting, I kept going back, and then the moment that they told me that they found a tumor, it was in the middle of my chest. So I just, obviously you start thinking about your life and how much time you have left, and it's not easy to hear that news.
So that's a lot of treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, stem cell treatment, all within the span of less than 3 years.
Which is probably one of the hardest treatments I've ever had to do. And recovered for, a few months, did some scans again, and then it started to show some growth again. Like at that point, the doctor actually mentioned that there was this clinical trial drug that showed some promising results. I think 75% of relapsed lymphoma patients had gone on this drug and had a 75% in tumor reduction.
So etc. was an experimental form of treatment, and at that time not covered by government funding. What is the Night of Hope? What is July 5th, 2012, and why did you decide to fundraise?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, primarily, we need to raise funds for the treatment itself. We decided to call it a Night of Hope, just to sort of give people hope, like if there's anybody suffering from any type of illness or disease, to sort of always have some sort of hope, even when you think things aren't really going your way. And it was an amazing success, because we had probably just over 1,000 people that night, and we raised more than enough funds to help with the drug. It was probably one of the most memorable moments in our lives. The atmosphere in that room that night was uplifting. We did another scan after being off the treatment for a couple of months, and the doctor noticed a spot on the scan that started to light up it was showing a little bit of activity. So we decided to do a little bit more radiation, and which takes us to 2 weeks ago today.
What role does family play in all of this?
Well, they're just, if anything, support. My daughter, being around, obviously my own daughter, I get to see her every day and be around it every day, and that's another positive I take from this, is that I get to be home with her, and I've got to see her, every single step that, every moment that she's grown, or learned something new. And
So tell us a little bit about your daughter Naya. How old is she, and is she like you?
Naya Maria Benenati is her name. She's 2.5 years old. She's just like me. She's like the social type. I don't know if it's just being a parent, and every parent has that same feeling, but I just...
So people at home may recognize you from Canadian Idol. You were a contestant in the 3rd season of the show. Tell us about that experience, and did you always know singing was for you?
I started singing at a very young age, I guess probably when I started talking. Eventually found my way to auditioning to Canadian Idol, and it was an amazing experience. It's probably the most success I've had musically, throughout my life.
So Vince, during our conversation, we talked a lot about your life. You are a singer, you are a father, you're a husband who also happens to have lymphoma. Throughout your experience, what is the most significant marker? If you could look back on your life, what role defines you the most?
Oh boy.
Does cancer define who you are?
I don't think it defines me. It's just something. I think it's just another hurdle. Me personally, with my personal experiences, can I see my life being positive without cancer? Absolutely, right? It's not I don't do things differently because I got diagnosed, because I was already doing that before.
So I guess my last question for you is, Where are you at in your headspace right now? Are you keeping upbeat? How are your spirits?
Spirits are always good. Just trying to focus on the positive as always. If I have one day left on this earth, I might as well be happy living it. You know, if I have a year, if I have 10 years, if I have 100 years, I just want to try to make best of whatever time I do have. So, you know, we try to be optimistic, and you know, like we know that you know, obviously there's time between scans, and you have to wait, and you know, it could be a little stressful and everything, but kind of trying to just put that on the back burner and just focus on the good, and just stay focused on that.
All right, thank you so much, Vince, for inviting us into your home, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in. This is Lymphoma Canada. Information, help, hope.